Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at one of the rarest types of malls I run across, an unquestionably thriving mall. This is the Mills at Jersey Gardens in Elizabeth, New Jersey. This mall opened in October 1999 as Jersey Gardens and was built on the site of a former landfill. Here's an overhead photo taken of this area sometime around 1995. And not surprisingly, quite a bit of remediation had to be done to this area to make it suitable for building a mall. And here's what it looks like today. The mall was developed, owned, and managed by Glimcher Realty Trust until 2015, when it was sold to Simon Property Group. When Simon took over, they renamed it to the Mills at Jersey Gardens and, of course, changed out all the signs for the standard silver and black signs you see at almost every Simon mall. Now, technically, this is an outlet mall, not a normal mall, but in my opinion, if I didn't know this was an outlet mall, I would just assume it's a, quote, regular mall. However, because it is considered an outlet mall, Simon calls it a Simon Center rather than a Simon Mall. As I've mentioned many times before, I'm not a huge fan of Simon malls, mainly because I see them as kind of boring. Usually what happens when Simon takes over a mall, they tend to standardize the mall to look like all the other Simon malls, and they did try to do that here to an extent. As you can see in this old photo that was taken at some point before this became a Simon mall, I think probably around 2012 or so, they actually had ivy growing on the wall, or some other plant that looked like ivy. And that makes sense because this was Jersey Gardens, so basically they had a garden on the wall, which I think is amazing. I don't think I've seen that at any other malls before. But of course, all that is gone now. Luckily, the design of the building itself is pretty interesting, and Simon can't really do much to change that. So because of that, the mall is not as boring as the majority of Simon malls, but it definitely used to look a lot better in my opinion. And now here's something I haven't seen in a very long time, a Disney store. Now this is technically a Disney outlet store, but still, it's a Disney store, and I don't think I've seen a Disney store at a mall, well, at least not since I've started doing these videos, and I've done something like 80 or 90 malls at this point. Not a single one of them had a Disney store, so I just had to go in here and take a look around. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. Thanks. If you watch my flea market videos, you probably know I'm really into collecting toys, especially like superheroes, cartoon characters, things like that. And they had a huge selection of Marvel statues and characters here and figures of all sorts, as you would imagine. But I don't think I've seen most of these in a lot of the other stores I go to, which are only like Walmart. Mainly Walmart. There's not a lot of other toy type stores around me. So I never see stuff like this, and the prices seem to be pretty good. Like these big figures here were only $12.98. I don't know what they normally go for, but I've seen little like 5-inch action figures go for like almost $10. So to me, you know, $12.98, $13 sounds like a pretty good deal. And I was actually thinking of buying some of these, but I didn't want to have to carry them around the entire mall, so I did skip it. And then by the time I finished the mall, I forgot to come back and pick these up. But if I'm ever in the area again, I'll almost certainly come back and take another look at this store. As you can see, this is a pretty big mall. It's currently the largest outlet mall in New Jersey, and if you include all the other non-outlet malls, it's within the top 10 largest malls in New Jersey. It also happens to be one of New Jersey's most successful malls, and there's many reasons for that. Probably the most important reason that this mall is doing so well is its location. It's right off the New Jersey Turnpike. It's about 15 minutes from Newark Liberty International Airport, about an hour from JFK and LaGuardia airports in New York. It's roughly 30 minutes from New York City. There's a bus service that goes directly between the mall and New York's Port Authority bus terminal. And on top of that, it's located in an urban enterprise zone, or UEZ, which allows the mall to charge sales tax of only 3.3125%, whereas the sales tax in nearby New York is over 8%. As a result, the mall gets a lot of shoppers hopping over the border from New York into New Jersey to get a good deal. And it also gets a lot of tourists just because it is so close to New York and all those airports. And for those of you wondering, this was filmed on a Tuesday at about 12:30 p.m. back in February, which is why everybody's wearing coats. And I would imagine, of course, it's going to be much busier on a Friday night or a Saturday. And a lot of people, or at least a few people, have noted in the comments that, I should really be coming out to these malls on Friday night or Saturday afternoon to get a good idea of what the mall is like. And I agree. In a perfect world, it would be nice to come to all these malls on a Friday or a Saturday, but it's just not possible. Most of these malls are about 3 to 5 hours from my house, and the only time that I really have time to do that many malls is during the week when I'm on vacation from work. So what I'll do is I'll take a week off from work, and then instead of going to Florida or Hawaii, as some people do for vacations, I go to malls. And it just so happens again that it's going to be during the week and during the middle of the day, just because that's how it works out. So again, I understand the argument that this really isn't the best time to judge a mall, but currently it's really the only time that makes sense for me to do it. If I were to only do it on Fridays or Saturdays, I would only be able to film about, like, say, 1 or 2 malls per trip, and then that just wouldn't make sense financially. Of course, you could also make the argument that saying how well a mall is doing based on just Friday or Saturday is also not accurate, because those 2 days are probably going to be busier than the rest. So you could say, yeah, the mall does well on Fridays and Saturdays, but then it's dead the rest of the week. On average, I would still say that that mall is probably dead or not doing well if it only gets business on Fridays or Saturdays. But that's all just my opinion, so let me know what you think about that in the comments. So here's the food court. And again, as I've said before, I kind of look at a food court to see how well a mall is doing. And this one, as far as I can tell, all the restaurants are occupied. I don't see any closed restaurants. And the selection of restaurants here is a lot better than I see at a lot of other malls. It's also a lot of different restaurants that I don't normally see. I'm pretty sure I've never seen Cajun Grill before. And this one here, Lotus Express, pretty sure I've never seen one of those before. I have seen a couple Nathans, but not a lot. I would imagine there's probably more Nathans down here and in New York than up in Connecticut, Massachusetts, where I normally go. I have seen my fair share of Moe's and Burger Kings, of course. Burger King especially. Popeyes, I've seen a few. I don't see them too often, honestly, though. security, and look at this trike they ride. I've never seen something like that before. Looks like that thing would tip over pretty easily in a high-speed mall chase. Assuming they chase people down in those things. And they've got a Johnny Rockets here on the right. I've never been to a Johnny Rockets. I like to go though. I like the way they look with the old style diner feel to them. But I'm not sure about the quality of the food. I don't know if it's closer to a McDonald's or like a Red Robin. If anybody knows, of course, let me know in the comments. Now, when I was doing research on this mall, I really wasn't able to find a lot of information about what stores were here before the current stores. So most times I can find out, what the original anchor stores were at a mall, who replaced that anchor store, what came next, things like that. But I searched all over the internet and I couldn't find really anything telling me the history of what stores were here, especially the stores on opening day. So if anybody knows the history of the stores in this mall, please let me know. Here's Primark coming up on the left, and I think I'll do a walkthrough of a Primark in the near future, as well as probably Boscov's, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's, places like that. And let me know, is there anything in particular you want me to look at when I do those walkthroughs? I mean, do you just want like a basic walkthrough, or do you want me to actually look at like the brands of clothing they're selling, the prices, things like that? Because I'm not sure if it gets boring when I start looking at prices. Because obviously I can't look at everything in there. But, let me know what you want me to do in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. Another type of store that I would love to do a walkthrough of would be some of the very high-end stores, like Tiffany's, Balenciaga, the really, really high-end stores. But I'm fairly certain if I tried to do that, they would kick me out almost immediately, because most of those stores, as you probably know, have security at the door. So I don't think I'd even get past the door. I was thinking of getting some of those camera glasses that they have, which might be, sneaky enough that they wouldn't notice I was filming. But the quality on those glasses tends to be really bad, so I could possibly do a walkthrough of one of those stores, but with really, really bad video quality. And I don't know if anybody would want to see that. Also, if anybody here has been into any of those stores, like Tiffany's and Balenciaga, the ultra high-end, let me know how it was. Were they all over you as far as like salespeople following you around the store? Or did they just leave you alone? I would imagine they're probably all over you. I also have to say I am a fan of the design and the layout of this mall, unlike other malls such as Philadelphia Mills, which, if you remember, Philadelphia Mills, which is also a Simon Mall, is basically one long hallway. It's a half mile each direction, So if you start at one end of Philadelphia Mills, if you want to go to the other, you then have to retread your steps and basically walk the entire mall again to get out, which I thought was horrible. However, here it's basically a figure eight on top of each other. So it's two figure eights. And that makes it much easier to navigate. So I can walk the entire mall, finish it, and then I do not have to re-walk the entire mall to get out of it. If you had to do that here, that would be like a 2-hour walk probably to get out of this mall. as I mentioned earlier, this mall is very close to New York City, so of course you've got to have a New York souvenir shop with Statue of Liberty figures. No, just looking. Thanks. I don't think I've ever seen a mall Zamboni before. Looks like somebody needs to replace a TV. All right, so there's the inside of the mall, but as usual, next I'm going to do a drive around the mall and we can see what it looks like from the outside. I would say this is probably one of the most impressive movie theaters I've ever seen. At least from the outside. And it was hard to tell. When I was here, this place almost looked closed, but I think it's still in business as far as I can tell. And there you have it. That was the Mills at Jersey Gardens in Elizabeth, New Jersey. One of the rare Simon malls that I really don't have much of a problem with. But let me know what you think about it in the comments. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and, of course, flea markets. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.